welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Sadia Yakubu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and StarTimes, channels 276. President Bola Tinubu has made a U-turn, naming former House of Representatives member from Osun State, Ayo Omidiran, as the chairman of the Federal Character Commission, hours after reappointing Dr. Muhibba Dankaka. Earlier, in a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and National and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, Tinubu had approved the appointment of Dankaka for a second 5-year term. However, Onanuga reversed the earlier statement and announcing Omidiran as a successor for Dankaka, whose tenure the presidency noted was dogged by controversy. President Bola Tinubu has appointed Chisom Obi to the Governing Council of Alex Ekweme Federal University, Ndufu Alike, Ebonyi State. This was disclosed in a press statement signed by Tinubu's Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, following the death of a member of the council. Tinubu also appointed Professor Raphael Akinfeleye, a renowned communication specialist, to the Governing Council of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State. The federal government has unveiled plans to strengthen interagency coordination and deepen community engagement as key pillars of the revised National Counter-Terrorism Strategy 2025. Speaking in Abuja at the national validation exercise for the draft strategy, National Coordinator of the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Major General Adamu Laka, said the updated framework was designed to improve collaboration among security agencies and foster public participation in preventing and responding to terrorism. He explained that the review process, which began in February 2025, went through multiple stages of consultation, including workshops, committee reviews, and stakeholders' engagement involving ministries, departments, and agencies, civil society groups, academia, and international partners. The federal government has taken steps to organize the curriculum of the Nigerian Correctional Service following the expansion of its mandate from just a prison system to a correctional service. Declaring the workshop open in Abuja, Controller General of Corrections Sylvester Nwakuchi said the initiative is part of his vision to reposition the service through capacity development, adding that the workshop has commenced for a 3-day to review the update the training curriculum for its institutions, aiming to align with its modern security challenges and international best practices. He emphasized the importance of continuous training and retraining for personnel in the ever-changing security landscape, noting that special attention will be given to critical areas including inmate clarification, interagency collaboration, the use of technology in corrections, and human rights-based operational standards. The Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, has called on donor agencies to partner with the federal government in funding youth development goals. Speaking in Abuja as Nigerian joined the world to mark International Youth Day, the minister stressed that empowering young people is critical to achieving the country's development target. Zara Nasir has the details.
August 12 every year is observed as International Youth Day. It's an opportunity for governments and stakeholders to spotlight youth issues and celebrate their contributions to national and global progress. The Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, says government remains committed to supporting young people across the nation.
We are pleading to them because in 2024 alone, we lose over $400,000, and they said that's what they used to support the youth, and we can't see it in any way, we can't feel it, and we are saying that we are pleading to them to follow the right direction so that properly the youth can be empowered, not in a token way.
The event brought together youth leaders, municipal officials, policy makers, United Nations representatives, and development practitioners to share ideas and explore ways to boost youth participation in local development. Executive Director of Youth Hope Africa, Rotimi Olawale, says their work focuses on building young people's skills and connecting them to global opportunities.
Create platforms for them to access opportunities, build their skills, expose them to global opportunities, and ensure that they have the opportunities to connect to government policies that solve their problems in Nigeria.
This year's theme for the commemoration of the International Youth Day is an apt reminder for youth across the world to localize efforts aimed at driving development within the framework of the Sustainable Development Goals. Zahra Nasser, reporting for Global TV News.
National Youth Service Corps members have been urged to lead the way in fighting terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, cultism, political thuggery, and all sorts of insecurity across the country. The call was made by the Northeast Zonal Coordinator, National Center for Control of Small Arms and Light Weapons, Northeast Zonal Center, retired Major General Abubakar Adamu, at the Corps orientation camp in Bauchi State. Abubakar emphasized that with the involvement of the youth, especially Corps members, in fighting the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, insecurity issues will be a thing of the past in no distant time. The People's Democratic Party in Sokoto State has criticized the arrest of former governor and serving Senator Aminu Tambuwal by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, describing it as a political move to weaken the opposition. In a statement issued this morning by the party's publicity secretary Hassan Senyin Awal, the PDP claimed the arrest was part of a bigger plan by the All Progressives Congress-led federal government to intimidate political opponents and crush growing resistance to President Bola Tinubu's administration. The party described EFCC's investigation as a fishing expedition based on an old case that had failed to produce evidence in the past. Cross River State Head of Service, Dr. Innocent Etang, has confirmed the implementation of the national minimum wage by the administration of Governor Basi Otu. The Head of Service disclosed this in Calabar, noting that the state government implemented the national minimum wage according to agreement with organized labor. Speaking shortly after unveiling the program of activity to mark the ongoing Civil Public Service Day celebration, Etang stated that the Otu administration graciously implemented the minimum as written in the agreement. No fewer than 8 persons have been killed in a flood disaster in Bogiripo, an ancient kingdom of Itim community in Afikpo local government area of Ebonyi State. The incident, which occurred following a heavy rainfall, affected over 800 farmlands and 3,000 households, creating a major displacement crisis within the community. Residents said the flood disaster resulted in the loss of a mother and her 4 children, as a search and rescue team from the community was able to rescue 4 other children alive. Meanwhile, 4 bodies have been recovered and buried, while search effort continues for those who are still missing. You're watching the live broadcast of News Circle. When News Circle returns, Trade Minister rallies support for infrastructure agency. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports. Stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. And in business, the federal government, through the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, ranked in 5.21 trillion naira from the sale of crude oil, gas, and other economic activities in the first 6 months of 2025. It said the revenue inflow represented 42.7% of the record 12.12 trillion naira generated in the entire 2024 fiscal year. The figure, however, represents only 34.7% of the 15 trillion naira revenue target set by the federal government for the Commission to implement the 2025 budget. The revenue was derived from royalties, gas sales, flared up, and the joint venture proceeds. The Trade Union Congress of Nigerian PUC says the country would need an estimated $120 billion to construct its federal road network, a sum that is roughly 4 times the size of its annual budget. Speaking at the second edition of the Union Southwest Summit 2025 in Lagos, the President General Festus Osifo cited a 2013 study that put the cost of constructing all federal roads at $120 billion, noting that Nigeria's current budget, which stands between $30 billion and $35 billion, is already heavily committed to salaries, education, healthcare, defense, and other essential services. Osifo described the gap between Nigerians' infrastructure needs and available resources as alarming, accusing much of the political leadership of lacking the vision and innovation required to revive the economy. As the economy tightens and bills pile up, more Nigerians are finding creative ways to make ends meet. Side hustle, once seen as optional, is now becoming a necessity. A second job that could make the difference between merely surviving and living comfortably. Kabir Hassan completes the reports.
In today's Nigeria, one job is really enough to meet daily needs. More and more people are turning to side hustles, not for extra cash, but for a vital part of their survival. Today we are in the street of Abuja to hear what Nigerians can say about the importance of side hustle.
With the rising cost of living and limited job openings, side hustle has become more than just extra income. They are now a survival strategy for many young Nigerians. From online businesses to creative trades, the youth are redefining work in face of economic hardship. Across selection of people interviewed on the benefit of side hustles, say such hustles provide financial stability, skill development, and independence. Some believe it's not just a choice but a necessity in the current economic climate.
Over 70% of Nigerians youth are unemployed. Is a concern.
Side hustle is very important because it helps standardize your finances. It gives you a financial edge over the economy.
Side hustle is important because as a Nigerian, if you don't have a side hustle, you'll be left at the side.
Experts recommend side hustle for youth, stressing the need for discipline, proper time management, and continuous skills improvement. They advise young people to start small, remain consistent, and avoid ventures that could compromise their main career.
Side hustle is very important. All I'm saying is side hustle is advisable.
Definitely, because you have to in other countries you can do 2-3 jobs. In Nigeria you can't just rely on one, so you have to do side hustle.
What do you mean by side hustling? If it is not something that is against the law, if it's a legitimate business that you know that it will be productive to your life, and besides that,
They have to find the techniques, creativity to help their self.
Still on the streets, many people advise youth to choose side hustles that match their skills and passions rather than chasing quick money. They also advise those hustling to ensure proper planning, financial discipline, and balancing the hustle with main job or educational qualification.
People are trying to make money in Nigeria, they are hustling. If there is government that help them to intervene for small scheme.
For all Nigerians, irrespective of your age difference, look for something aside your dream job to keep you.
The side hustle has moved from the background to the center stage of their financial lives, and with the rising showing no signs of slowing, it seems that extra job will remain a necessity for the foreseeable future. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
On the foreign scene, Rwanda has termed as false accusations by the United Nations that its force took part alongside the rebels in the killing of several hundred civilians in eastern Congo. Citing first-hand accounts, the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights said that M23 rebels killed at least 319 civilians in a series of attacks on 4 villages in North Kivu province in July, adding that the killings took place on farms in territory between July 9 and July 21st. Meanwhile, in a statement by the Foreign Affairs Minister, Kigali called the accusation unacceptable, says United Nations Rights Agency without evidence of seeking to undermine effort to end the conflict in Congo's east. Press Freedom Organization Reporters Without Borders has condemned what it described as the claimed assassination by the Israel arm of 6 journalists in Gaza Strip. The organization frowned on the assassination of Al Jazeera correspondent Anas al-Sharif in Gaza, whom the armed forces admitted that had targeted, contrary to Israel's accusation that al-Sharif was a terrorist affiliated with Hamas. The Press Freedom Campaign Group insisted that he was one of the most famous journalists from the Gaza Strip, as well as the voice of the suffering Israel has imposed on Palestinians in Gaza. The Qatari broadcaster Al Jazeera had announced that 5 of its journalists had been killed in an Israel strike on Sunday. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says that Vladimir Putin is not preparing for a ceasefire but is readying his troops for new offensive operations in Ukraine. Even as the Russian leader is set to meet United States President Donald Trump for peace talk in Alaska, Zelensky said reports from Ukrainian intelligence and military commanders indicate that Putin intends to present his meeting on Friday with Trump as a personal victory and then continue acting exactly as before in the war on Ukraine. Ukrainian's military spokesperson for the southern frontline sector said Russia was moving some military units in the Zaporozhye region for further assaults. And in sports, Team Nigerian departed for Santiago, Chile to compete in the World Para Powerlifting World Cup scheduled for August 15 to August 17, 2025. The squad made up of 10 athletes, 8 women and 2 men jetted out of Nigeria after a delayed flight. The delegation features some of the nation's most decorated para-powerlifters, including multiple world champions and Paralympic medalists. Speaking before departure, Oluwafemi Layo, one of the Nigerian's most accomplished para-powerlifters, expressed the team's determination to deliver another strong performance. The All Progressives Congress youth leader, Dayo Israel, has urged Nigerian youth to embrace sport, not for recreation, but as a pathway to career success and a strategic tool in the fight against crime and unemployment. He made the remarks during a community event built around one of football's biggest showdowns. Anita Patrick reports.
It was a lively atmosphere at the Nestor Resource Center in Abuja, venue of the 2025 Community Shield Viewing Party. Football fans, youth stakeholders, and members of the National Assembly gathered to watch Liverpool take on Crystal Palace. The APC youth leader Dayo Israel said beyond the goals and penalties, the focus was a bigger goal, using sports to steer young Nigerians away from restiveness and crime.
You can't separate youth and sport. Youth and sport is very critical. And that's why every government has a Ministry of Youth and Sport, or a Ministry of Youth and a Ministry of Sport. But youth and sport are synonymous, and the goal is that young people can use sport as a means to channel their energy, as a means to be able to build peace, as a means to be able to improve their talent, develop themselves, and also for economic prosperity. And so we understand the importance of sport.
Israel encouraged youths, regardless of political affiliation, to take advantage of facilities at the Youth Hub in the FCT to network, play games, and participate in activities designed to improve their lives and offer an escape from daily struggles.
With our first Sport Viewing Center, we're going to be bringing young people together every week to, watch games together, interact, network, use that opportunity to build collaborations, and have engagement around sports and politics, football and politics. We also have a table tennis corner here. We have a snooker corner here. We have some native games like Ludo and all of that. For you, people can come in the afternoon with their friends, network, have some drinks and play games together.
Crystal Palace eventually lifted the trophy after defeating Liverpool on penalties, a victory that capped a day of football, fellowship, and a renewed call to make sports a tool for national development. Anie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
The local organizing chairman of African Nations Championship says Kenya will play their upcoming match against Zambia in front of a reduced crowd after home fans had repeatedly invaded the stadium ahead of games. It is the first time the three East African countries, Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda, have hosted the competition, but the historic moment has been overshadowed by a long delay over the stadium's readiness and now unruly spectators. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football has issued a fine to the Football Kenya Federation totaling $17,500 over the disturbances in the stadium. That's it on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channels 365 and Star Times channels 276. Kindly follow us across all the social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Sadia Yakubu saying thank you for watching.